Hello everyone, what I'm going to try and do is get this red dot sight zeroed properly on the HoriZone Redback Deluxe pistol crossbow, and then I'm going to try shooting it into a catalogue, and I want to see what sort of group I get from shooting it sort of with my shoulder using the stock, although it's not a proper end on this stock. Sort of for bracing against the shoulder, I'm hoping it'll be good enough that I don't get much parallax error with the red dot sight, and then I can use that to hopefully get a decent group of it. Because one thing that should be better on red dot sights is that if I flick it on, although it's not necessarily going to show up well on the camera, is that when a red dot sight is hopefully, with a red dot sight, there we go, is that it should hopefully not change much sort of distance wise, unlike an iron sight. So if you have an iron sight close to your eye, often it can be blurry, whereas if you have an iron sight further away you can see it better, but that sometimes means you can't brace the gun or crossbow as well. So what I'm going to do is take some shots this to my shoulder, and hopefully there won't be much parallax error and I'll get a good group. So let's test it. And I'm going to be using these aluminium sort of alloy bolts because they're all in perfect condition, so the bolts won't affect the accuracy of the test. So my target is this catalogue, and I've drawn a red circle on it, and I'm hoping that I can get all the bolts within that red circle, which is only about an inch or so across. Right, I've switched to the green dot sight so it's a bit more visible on the red background, and we're all ready to go. So let's see what it does. Went a bit high into the right, but let me see if I can zero that and adjust for it. Shot number 2. That's gone higher into the right again, so let me try re-zeroing it. Shot 3. That's gone right but a bit lower. That's horizontally correct but still too high, so I need to adjust it down. Right, that one's gone really high, so I need to zero it in the opposite direction. Right, next attempt. Right, let's take a look at our group. Right, as you can hopefully see, they're all pretty much, there's the red circle that I drew. They went a little bit high, but they're all grouped really close to each other. This bolt here, the flight has been damaged by another flight hitting it, so that's a really tight grouping. As you can see, the group is consistent, so the crossbow is very accurate. It's simply where I still need to adjust the elevation down slightly to get it where I want it to go exactly. But yeah, I mean, they've all penetrated really well as well. All of them have gone to about page 688, so about 700 pages in. So yeah, that definitely makes an advantage to having a pistol crossbow with a red dot sight, because I can brace it against my shoulder and I can still get the same level of accuracy you know, as I could if it was slightly further away, because the problem with an iron sight is when it's that close to your eye, it means that your eye can't focus properly on the iron sight, so you can't get the sort of same level of accuracy as you could with a red dot sight. So that's all really good. See there, the paint's come off this bolt, sort of where it's been scraped by another bolt. They went in that close to each other. So yeah, very impressed. Let me shoot this from a little bit further away, and I'll see if I can also get the bolts to group. I'm now going to repeat it from about 5 yards and see where the bolts end up. Ooh, that bolt is very dead. Now, I did shoot another bolt off that wasn't on the camera when testing the accuracy, so that went about the same height as the other one, so I'm going to see now if it's gone down anymore. That one's gone down slightly, however I think I'm going to have to manually aim lower if I want to compensate anymore. Right, last bolt, I'm just going to aim at the very bottom of the catalogue and see where it goes. Right, let's have a look at our group. Now, the actual group is pretty good despite them not going where I thought they were going to go. You can see these 3 here are pretty much all in the same spot, despite the fact I was adjusting the zero between them. And then when I aimed about here, this bolt went up here. So obviously how I've zeroed it, I've got the crosshair, or the red, like the green dot, red dot, as high as it will go in the thing, so when I shoot it should go closer to where the bolts actually go. But it seems I can't really compensate any more for that at longer range. just simply because I'm getting near the edge of the thing, and it's obviously because they're not quite parallel on the rails, because as I've explained before in other videos, when you have a sight like this, it has to match up at a certain distance with the actual crossbow for the point of impact. That's what zeroing does. But obviously, when you've got a really good group, like the first group I shot at close range, it's where I've got the butt two sort of identical. Then as I get further away, you have to adjust up more to get the crossover in the right place. But obviously, it comes to a point where you can't actually adjust it up anymore. But obviously, as you go further away again, what will happen is you'll get drops from the bolts due to range, and then they might hit the same place again. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this red dot sight, or green dot sight as I've had it on today. You've got a couple of different apertures. I don't know how easily I'll be able to show you those, so I'll put it on green so it's a bit brighter. Yes, you can see that that's green, sort of standard dot or red dot that you can have. If I can get it in position again, rotate this. That's like a circle with a circle inside it, kind of crosshair. That's what I was using on the first group. And then we've got, I'll get this in frame and adjust it, standard crosshair with a sort of dot in the very middle. They're perfectly focused to my eye, but they don't appear all that great on the camera because of how this works. And then another sort of crosshair, sort of a circle with a dot and a crosshair, if that's visible. There we go. But yeah, overall I sort of like either probably this one or this one the most. Out of interest, do they always appear in the same place? Yeah, near enough. So yeah, that shouldn't be affecting any accuracy that way, but there we go. Yeah, I do like the sight, very very nice. I'll probably go back to this one as it's my favourite of the crosshairs. But yeah, overall this is better than the iron sight, I'd say, when you want a really tight group, especially sort of with focusing it. When I talk about focusing it, what I mean is, say I've got the red dot on here, I can look like this and get the green dot right sort of where I'm aiming, and it's perfectly focused to my eye. I could have both eyes open or one eye open, it doesn't matter with a red dot, that's what I like about red dots. But I could also hold it out like this, and I'd also get the sort of same effect. So however you want to shoot one of these crossbows, you can get it and get the dot focused, whereas with an iron sight, if you're doing this with it, the problem is that the iron sight might not be that accurate, because obviously it will blur by being very close to your eye, but these don't actually blur to the human eye. So any distance I hold it, I can actually see the dot. However, when it's closer to your eye, the crosshair appears smaller, so I think in theory the closer it is to your eye, the more accurate it is. Whereas when you go further away, it sort of seems to take up a lot more of the red dot, sort of project the screen. But actually at this distance, I can have both eyes open, have it braced against my shoulder, reduce the sway, and squeeze up the bolts at quite a lot of accuracy. So there we go. I don't know if you can actually see on the reverse side of a sort of one of these screens that there's the dot, but obviously if you go on this side you can see it if the angle's right. But there we go, HoriZone Redback Deluxe crossbow with the actual sort of red dot sight on there they provide. Very good for getting tight groups, as seen with the very first lot I shot once I had it zeroed.